Welcome back to Soul Ramble Mode. Future Soul, make sure to put a timestamp for the people that want to skip ahead right to the discussion portion. For those of you that do stick around for this part, just a quick reminder that again, the schedule is always going to be Wednesdays with fully edited videos as per usual, and then Thursdays and Fridays are going to be Ramble Mode videos. Next to that, obligatory begging, if you guys could do me the immaculate favor of considering a like on the video, a comment, and a subscription, and maybe hyping up the video, because doing all of those things helps out the channel immensely. You guys have been crushing it with the support these last couple of weeks, and it has been so awesome to see this little, community here grow and stuff like that. So I want to help, continue building upon that. And obviously we're about to hit our 11K goal. So once we hit that, the Winds and Waves giveaway is officially on, but it doesn't stop there. I will give you guys more details once we hit that goal. All right. That all being said, why don't we go ahead and talk about today's primary topic, which is Pokemon Colosseum, right? Because here's the thing. It's so funny that for such a long time, for a very, very long time, we have been just begging to see both Pokemon Colosseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness ported over to modern consoles since they've been released, right? Because, we haven't seen them since the GameCube era. A lot of people, it's one of those things now where we're so far ahead and so far along with Pokemon. I'm personally not one of those that feels like these games need like remakes or anything like that. I mean, it could be cool. I would absolutely buy into it if we saw like, a properly made remake to see like, what a modern version of these games could look like, especially with all the updated like Pokemon and updated like aspects of, Pokemon as we know it, and just having, certain limitations within these games would definitely make it a lot more interesting to play for a lot of people, even if they are spin-off titles, but they play so traditionally that they fit very well into the mainline series. They're just very, very different from what we're used to, but that's what people like about Colosseum and XD Gale Darkness, is that even though, they play like traditional Pokemon games, turn-based aspects and all, but they are so fundamentally different in how you progress, what the stories are like, the characters having their own like histories and stuff, stuff like that. Because, you got to keep in mind, like these characters, they had histories before us, right? And that's the coolest part about it. You know what I'm saying? That's why people are so enamored with the concepts within these games, catching shadow Pokemon and fighting real ass villains, bro. Like these guys are demons, you know what I'm saying? So, it was inevitable that people were going to want these games to come back for a very, very long time. We figured they would at least sometime like come back during maybe like, the Wii U era or something like that, and it never happened. And then during the Switch era, we were like, okay, we're getting Nintendo Switch Online, we're getting all these different aspects. Surely, like, we're gonna see these games crop up at some point. And it's crazy that they never did. Not until the Switch 2 era, where we finally got, mind you, it took until, for whatever reason, the Switch 2 era to receive GameCube. Why? Beyond me, right? It took way too long for us to receive, frankly, a proper port for Super Mario Sunshine, which we still barely got because it was completely limited and locked onto the 3D All-Stars bundle for whatever reason. And then, now it's just casually available on Nintendo Switch Online, which, okay, whatever, fine, I guess, you know what I'm saying? But, with XD Gale Darkness and Colosseum, we figured it would be a lot sooner. It was not. But we did finally receive, what was that, was that early 25? Yeah, it was early 25 before we, it was early 25 or something like that. We received the info, or was it 24? My time is so messed up right now. But either way, we received the info that we were going to get XD Gale Darkness and Colosseum, right? So we figured, all right, great, perfect. Like GameCube is going to be stacked up with Wind Waker, with F-Zero, with Pokemon. That's phenomenal. That's great. Once we get that, we're going to have a piled up lineup. Because, Nintendo, since the Wii U era, has usually been very good about making sure that when we get a new console or get a new little toy to play with, there's things to utilize on it. They have learned a lot since the Wii U era. They are not making that mistake again. Or so I thought. So we did inevitably receive our GameCube our GameCube update to Nintendo Switch Online, and we got Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, and that's very, very strange to me, right? And I know most other people can agree, like, okay, cool, we love XD Gale of Darkness. It's, you know, it is the sequel, you know what I'm saying? Like, it did, you know, everything it needed to do to capitalize on what the original introduced to us. But why did we get XD first? How in the hell did that happen, right? Because here's the thing. You gotta remember, Colosseum came out first. It was the first to do it like it did, right? XD Gale of Darkness is the sequel, or, you know, in spirit, it is the sequel to Colosseum. You know, it has the improved mechanics, the improved, well, I mean, graphics are still generally the same. It didn't come out that much longer after XD, or after Colosseum, but it has all the updated, you know, aspects about it to make it a much more plausible game, you know, to come afterwards. You know, it had a whole new story and a whole new set of characters, a whole new aspect to it, but it still had the general fundamental stuff that makes it like a spiritual successor to, or a spiritual sequel to Colosseum, with the shadow Pokemon, how you go about capturing those and things like that, right? And it just did it in more convenient ways, instead of having what was her name, Lyra, or like, no, sorry, that's not Lyra. Having the companion with you that could see shadow Pokemon that you had to keep on you at all times. You had a mechanic and an arm, a special gadget that could sense the shadow Pokemon for you, so that you could, you know, play around and not have to have somebody following you the entire time that's doing all of the dialogue and talking and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Which, you know, that's hit or miss. You know, I think that's one of those things where it depends on what you like more. So, you know, that's completely up to you. You know, how you feel about that is how you feel about that. But it's little things like that that makes it so that, yeah, no, the entire purpose of XD Gale of Darkness was to be improvements over what Colosseum introduced. So why is it that we received XD Gale of Darkness first? Because now we're looking at a situation where it's just like, so what? We're gonna get what's technically the inferior game next? I mean, okay, I say inferior. I'll be completely honest, I don't 100% know how the general public feels about, you know, the contrast between Colosseum and Gale of Darkness. I've never looked too much into that. I know most people, one thing is for certain, people love these damn games. People loved Colosseum and XD Gale of Darkness. They loved them with all their heart, and they were ready to kill somebody for these ports, or even remakes or whatever. Just some way to play these games legally that didn't require, you know, them dusting off the Wii or their Wii U. Could the Wii U play GameCube? No, right? Could it? I don't remember. I don't know. I just know that the last time I played Colosseum, it was on a Wii, and I borrowed my buddy's GameCube disc, right? Backwards compatibility was, you know, more of a normal thing. But whatever. I played both of these games, and I could tell, yeah, XD Gale of Darkness was, you know, the mechanically superior game in a lot of different ways. So the idea of getting Colosseum afterwards is extremely baffling to me, because like, what, now we're a good couple of months into having XD Gale of Darkness. Like, we've had XD Gale of Darkness for months now, right? Since like February, March or something like that. We've had it for a very long time, and now we're just sitting here twiddling thumbs like, where is Colosseum at now? Like, why is it taking so long to get Colosseum? Like, what's the point, right? Is this going to be one of those things where, you know, more towards, you know, the holiday season, they kind of want to give us something to chew on, so they might give us Colosseum? But like, why? Why did we wait so long? And why did you not give us that one first and give us XD Gale of Darkness later? That would have made a lot more sense, you know what I'm saying? Like, people would have played the original version first, because there's a lot of people probably playing those games that didn't play they didn't play them on release originally, so they're playing these games and thinking like, oh yeah, no, this is cool, like, definitely, whatever. They get XD Gale of Darkness first, and then they go into Colosseum, they're like, why does this feel like a little bit of a downgrade? Like, what the hell? I don't know. That's extremely, extremely weird to me. Right? That's like, I don't know. This is gonna sound crazy, right? But anybody who's a Persona fan, maybe you'll see what I'm talking about here. That's like them giving us Persona 4 Revival first, and then making a remake for Persona 3 Reload and doing it in that order. Like, right, like, as opposed to right now, we are getting Persona 4 Revival this upcoming February. And that's, you know, that's the fourth game in the Shin Megami Tensei, you know, Persona series at the time. And then going back to 3, it's like, why would we do that? Like, I don't know. That's weird. That would be super weird to me if we did something like that. And that's exactly what I'm looking at when it comes to Colosseum and XD Gale of Darkness. Like, why? What are we going to do once Colosseum comes out? Like, I guess we're still going to play it, but a lot of people are going to get into that game and they're going to realize, like, why is this game, like, technically inferior to the other one I just played a couple of months ago? Like, is this the prequel? Why would they release it in this order? That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking a little bit too hard on that, but this is something that's been bugging me. But the primary fact of it is that it's still not out yet. I couldn't surmise to you as to why, but we have gotten multiple GameCube ports over to Nintendo Switch Online, or whatever you want to call them, emulators, whatever. We've gotten multiple ports for the GameCube since XD Gale of Darkness, Mario Sunshine being one of them. That's a major release. That's one of the that's a Nintendo Switch Online seller. Like, that's a reason for people to be like, oh, yep, I want the online. Give me that. And they instantly buy into it. You know what I'm saying? So now they're buying into it. They see all these different GameCube games, whether it be Sunshine, Wind Waker, XD Gale of Darkness, F-Zero, Star Fox, whatever. And they're like, this is great. This is awesome. And then they see Colosseum eventually drop. They play that. It's not, you know, it's not as, it's still a good game. It's still a phenomenal game. Don't get me wrong. It is still technically inferior though. It's just, it doesn't make any sense to me. What is the game plan here? Because what's scaring me now is the idea that they said they were going to release Colosseum, but they might not deliver on that now. Because it's just like, why even bother? There's absolutely no reason for them to go out of their way to release Colosseum now if they didn't really want to. There might be no purpose to it now. So it's just like, they may have changed their minds on that. So it's like, now I'm thinking like, what the hell? How are we gonna go about this now? So I don't know. I guess this is just me being a little bit scared for, you know, the fate of Colosseum, you know, because I feel like that game deserved a lot more recognition than it got, obviously, and I feel like a lot more people would appreciate that game, you know, older as it is, in this modern era. But now, you know, it got skipped over by older brother in XD Gale of Darkness, which is just the generally superior game. You know what I'm saying? Like, they learned a lot from that first game and they did more for XD. So it's just like, well, why? What now? What happens next? So, I don't know. Call me crazy, call me stupid, but maybe I'm just in my head about this, but I just feel like it was a crazy move to drop XD Gale of Darkness first, and now we're sitting here with twiddling thumbs, wondering when or if Colosseum is gonna come out to us ever again. You know what I'm saying? I know they said they would. They can lie. They can just not, you know what I'm saying, if they didn't want to. I hope they don't do that, because that would be really messed up. But given the fact that XD Gale of Darkness is here, it's playable, why even bother? And again, I don't want to think that way, because I liked Colosseum. I liked the general, like, aesthetic and, like, plot of Colosseum more. So, I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of people out there like me that, you know, have a preference for Colosseum that, you know, won't mind as much. As long as we have it available to us, at the end of the day, I guess it doesn't matter. But, again, they don't need to if they really didn't want to. And that's the aspect that scares me the most. So, I don't know. This is one of those situations where I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. Hopefully they got something for us. I'm not going to hold my breath on it. Okay, so I think that just about does it for me for this one. As per usual, the mic is in your hands now, and I want you guys to tell me everything that you're thinking in the comment section below. Do you agree that it's very strange that they gave us Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, and now we're still sitting here waiting on the first game in Colosseum, and you might be a little more on the worried side that we may not even actually get the game? Or are you on the opposing side? You think that I'm just being a little dramatic. They're still going to give us Colosseum. It doesn't really matter that they released out of order, and that we will see it soon enough when it matters, when the time is right, probably during some, you know, major downtime or some more major downtime for Pokemon. Tell me everything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I am always going to be down there with you guys. But with that, Yes, ma'am. It does appear to be skedaddle o'clock, so I'm gonna go ahead and do just that. I'd like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this here. And with that, I'm gone, so thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor, taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!
Like this, like switch, like this,